guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Wake Up Wednesday. If you are new around here, my name is Nissy T and we are all about reclaiming your power. So all things empowerment and also building a brand that you can be proud of. Welcome back to another Wake Up Wednesday, where every single week on a Wednesday, I give you the kick up the backside that you need to keep moving forward, to keep doing what you need to do, and to ensure that you are walking in your purpose and walking towards where it is that you are supposed to be. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to be talking about imposter syndrome. I think I mentioned this in the last Wake Up Wednesday, but if I didn't, it's okay, I'm going to recap. But as well as Wake Up Wednesdays being, that motivation, that empowerment, that encouragement, I also want to provide some practical things that we can take on and do, because it's super easy for me to be like, don't be like this, don't be like that. That is super easy for me to do, but sometimes the actual application is the difficult part. So today I wanted the Wake Up Wednesday to still be exactly the same. I'm still going to drag your edges. I'm still going to yank you by your hair top. But what I am going to do today is I am going to give you some practical steps in the process. So today we are kicking things off talking about imposter syndrome. So if you're interested, you want to get a little bit of midweek motivation, you want to push yourself and still go hard, make sure you keep tuned. Imposter syndrome, something that most of us, if not all of us, have either dealt with or are dealing with. Guys, imposter syndrome is something that I have personally dealt with, whether it be walking into certain rooms where I'm looking around and I'm thinking, how the hell did I end up in this room? Or I am, going to certain places. I remember I even had imposter syndrome while I was at Cambridge University. For those that have been riding with me for a long time will know that I went to the University of Cambridge between the years of, I think it was 2014 and 2017. And I graduated and everything finished. But guys, there were some moments where I was sitting in some rooms and I was looking around thinking, what the hell am I doing here? The lecturer or whoever it was in front of me, my supervisor, might be talking to me. And I'm not going to lie, guys. I had moments where I was looking around thinking, I have no clue what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying to me. But these are things that I had to remind myself of in order for me to understand that, yes, I might in that moment feel like I'm an imposter, but I am not an imposter because I am there and I'm there for a reason. So here are some tips in order for you to overcome imposter syndrome, because we're going to get rid of that. We're not doing that in 2020. We're walking into rooms and we're showing up and we're presenting ourselves on top form. We are being confident. We are being bold, and we are standing in these rooms and we are allowing ourselves to be seen and to be heard because we deserve to be in those spaces. And that leads into point number one. If you want to overcome imposter syndrome, it starts with you being able to reaffirm why you are there. Let me tell you something, guys. 99.9% of the time, things do not happen by accident. Yes, there are some moments where coincidences happen. Yes, there are some moments that, things just happen out of nowhere. You didn't necessarily plan for it, work for it, and things just happen. I call them blessings. When God is looking at you thinking, you are not even qualified, but you know what? I'm going to bless you anyway. But most of the time, there is work that is required in order for something to happen. Therefore, if you are in a room, it is not by accident. There is a reason that you are in that room. So it is important that if you ever feel like an imposter, you get that feeling of imposter syndrome. I shouldn't be in this room. I don't deserve to be here. Why am I here? These people are smarter than me. These people are better than me. I don't know half the things that they do. Let me remind you and be the first to remind you that you are there for a reason. Whether it be because someone saw something in you that maybe you don't even see in yourself, or it might be because someone saw the work that you had done before and looked at it and said, you know what? This person is amazing at what they do. They have to be in this room. But it is very, very rare, if at all possible, that you will be in a room, whether it be with high caliber people, high net worth people. You're in a room that maybe exceeds the expectations of maybe where you think you are right now. It is very, very rare for you to end up in that room for no reason. Why on earth would they go and collect anybody and everybody to be in that room? It wouldn't be what it is if that was the case. If everybody could be there, then fair enough. Then you can say, oh, do you know what? They just, I'm just in the room because everyone's here. It didn't really require that much work. I just kind of made it. But no, you are in that room for a reason. And when those negative thoughts try to come to your mind and try to tell you that you don't deserve to be there, that's when you have to speak back to those negative thoughts and say, no, I deserve to be here. There is a reason why I am here. There is a reason why they picked me out of all of these people. There is a reason why I am worthy to be in these rooms and in these spaces. There is a reason why I have to be present. There's a reason why I cross paths with X person in order for me to connect. And from that conversation, it led me to be in this space. There is a reason why. I might not fully understand it right now. I might not fully see it right now. I might not fully feel 100% like I deserve to be in this room, but I'm going to act like it. And I'm going to present myself and I'm going to walk in and step into this room with all of me. I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to dim myself down. I'm not going to make myself small. I'm speaking especially to my ladies. You guys know I have a thing, I talk to everybody, but specifically to my ladies, because I know how it is as women. Sometimes we make ourselves smaller. We dim ourselves down. We dull our light because we don't want to be too much. We don't want to offend. We don't want to take up too much space. 2020 is the year that you finally stop being small or playing small in order to make other people happy. We're not doing that anymore. We've done it in the past. We've made ourselves smaller. We thought that it was a sign of humility. We thought, you know what? The quieter I am, the better, because it's a symbol of humility. No, it's a lie. You are not humble. You're actually selfish, because you are keeping the things that are in the inside of you and you are stopping it from impacting other people because you are afraid of living in your fullness. And you're calling it humility. No, I'm calling it selfishness. It is selfish to keep secret the gifts that have been put in the inside of you. Those gifts are not for you. They're for the world. They're for everybody to see. They're so that you can make impact. They're so that you can make a difference on this earth. So as you step into these rooms that you might not in that moment feel like you deserve to be in, let me be the first person to remind you that 99.9% of the time, those things don't happen by accident. It is very rare that I've walked into rooms with important people and I look around and look at them thinking, why the hell are they here? They don't deserve to be here. Absolutely not. Because in order for you to be surrounded by greatness, it must mean that there was some sort of greatness that resided in the inside of you that maybe someone saw or that someone picked up on. That they said, no, this person has to be in the room. The second way that you can overcome imposter syndrome, when those negative nonsense thoughts start coming into your head telling you that you don't deserve to be in that room, is you remind yourself of who you are. And this is so key and so important, because some people even have the issue as a whole where they don't even know who they are. That is why they can go into those rooms and all of a sudden they feel like, oh my gosh, I don't deserve to be here. Okay, let me just shut up. Let me just not talk. Let me just not say anything. Let me make myself smaller. Let me dial myself down. But when you know who you are, guys, let me speak to the people for a second. And I'm going to come to you in a second if you don't know who you are. And I'm going to give you some tips on how you can discover who you truly are. But when you know who you are, you know I'm talking to you right now. When you know who you are, you know what you stand for. You know your values. You know your principles. You know what you're here to do. You know your purpose. When you know who you are and you wear it with authority and you wear it with pride and you stand knowing where you've come from. And that's even going to be the next one I'm going to talk about. But you know who you are. I'm telling you guys, even when imposter syndrome might try to come, just the mere fact that you know yourself and you have confidence within yourself, you will walk differently and talk differently in that room. But you have to know who you are. Now, you might be listening to this thinking, I don't even think I know who I am. I don't know my identity. I'm just not too sure. I don't know what to do. I'm not too sure. For me, I can only speak from my own personal experience. My identity is formed on my faith. My identity is formed on something bigger than me. Because guess what? I'm an emotional human being. My feelings go up and down. 1 minute I'm happy, the next minute I'm sad. If I really depended on myself, i.e. my human fleshly self, to determine who I was, guess what? On a Monday when I'm not feeling so great, I would be the bottom of the barrel. On a Tuesday when I'm on a high and I feel absolutely amazing, I'll be the queen, the boss babe, etc., etc. But because my identity is not based on that, my identity is based on my faith and what it says about me in my word, as in the word of God, and that's what I believe. Because I know that that's what I'm rooted in, it means that even when I don't feel like it, I'm reminded of the truth of who I am. So when I say things like, I am the head and not the tail, I am on top and not beneath, I am a light on a hill, I am the salt of the earth. When I'm saying things like this, in that moment, my emotions in that moment may not necessarily agree with it. But because my identity is formed by the roots of what I stand on, even though my emotions might say one thing, I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know what my principles are. So if you're someone that's searching and looking, maybe it's high time that you actually took a step back and said, okay, right, my body, my emotions, my whatever, that's one thing. But what about my spirit? What about my soul? What about my heart? Because ultimately, this body will die. This body will go into the ground and it will turn into dust once again. But your spirit, your soul is what counts. And that's what forms the foundation of who you are. And when you can finally align with that, the spiritual, when you can align with your soul and you can actually discover past all the outer parts, but that inner part, and you can finally walk in who that person is, I'm telling you guys, you will be unstoppable. You will be so powerful. You will walk with so much confidence. A lot of people, of faith call it Godfidence. You will walk in that Godfidence because you're like, wait a second. The world is trying to tell me that I need to play it small. The world is trying to tell me that I'm not good enough. The world is trying to tell me that I need to do this before I can, be worthy. But I'm being told in the word of God, I'm being told that I'm already worthy. That I'm a royal priesthood. I'm being told that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Okay, now I understand who I am. So when imposter syndrome tries to come through the door, beautiful people, listen to me. You need to remind yourself of who you are. So whether it be that you need to take yourself to the bathroom and you need to go into maybe one of the cubicles and you need to speak to yourself, maybe not too loud because people might be like, what's this girl doing or what's this person doing? Maybe you just need to whisper it to yourself. But whatever it is that you need to say whatever it is that you need to say to remind yourself of who you are. Whether it be the things that your parents said to you that encouraged you when you were a young girl or a young man, say it to yourself. Whether it be the things that you read in your Bible, say it to yourself. Whether it be the things that you discovered on a self-discovery retreat or whatever it is, say it to yourself and remind yourself of who you are. Because when you know who you are, you walk with authority and you walk with power. Last but not least, number 3, you want to overcome imposter syndrome? You need to remind yourself of where you've come from. A lot of people think that what is happening in that present moment is just a result of what's happening in front of them. But I think it would be so interesting if people, or even myself, I know this is something that I really, really need to do. But in some situations where it feels like the walls are coming in, sometimes you just need to take a step back and really look at where you've come from, the journey you've had to go through in order for you to be there. Because when you start doing that, all of a sudden, rather than thinking, oh, I don't deserve to be here, you start listing off all the things that you went through to get there in the first place. And once you start doing that, once you start looking at all the things that you've overcome, all the things that you've managed to do despite people's opinions, all the things that you've managed to do despite your teacher's reports or the people around you or the negative Nancy's, despite all of those things, the things that you had to get through to get into that room in the first place, again, when those negative thoughts come, you will be able to rebuke it and speak to it and say, do you know what? I'm sorry, but you can't have authority over me. You can't speak to me like that because do you understand what I had to come through? Do you understand where I've come from? Maybe it's your parents and maybe they had to do certain things in order for them to come to the country, like many migrants. My parents are migrants. When I listen to the stories of the trials, the tribulations, the things that they did, the fact that they gave up everything that they loved back home in order for them to come to a completely different country where they didn't know the language, they didn't know the culture, they didn't understand anything, purely because they wanted to give their kids a better life. They sacrificed and let go of everything. And this is why sometimes, guys, it frustrates me and I talk with so much power because I understand where I came from. I understand that my parents didn't fight all the fights that they went through. My parents did not go through what they went through only for me to come and now be mediocre. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go there. They didn't. My parents did not sacrifice everything. Literally everything. Can you imagine, guys? Can you imagine for all my people that live in the West, that are in the UK, or let's say in the States or wherever, maybe there's in a country that speaks English, Canada, whatever. Imagine taking your entire life Picking it up and going to a country where you don't know the language. So going to somewhere like China or going to Thailand or going to India. I don't know Indian. I don't know the culture like that. It's like me picking up my life today and going to this country that I have no clue what to expect, which, by the way, I then experienced racism and discrimination and all of that stuff on top of fear, worry, anxiety, PTSD. On top of all of those things, I now go to this country, experience all of these things just because I know that I want something better for my children. You need to understand how far you've come. And some of you, that's why I said before, sometimes you need to take a step back, because you're just thinking, oh yeah, I'm just here because. But you don't realize that when you take a step back, what did my ancestors go through? Oh my gosh, what did my grandparents have to go through? Oh my gosh, what did my parents have to go through in order for me to be in this room? Then all of a sudden, when you start looking at the sacrifices and the things that people had done for you, maybe you're not necessarily a child of an immigrant. Maybe you just saw how hard your parents worked. How can you see your parents do all of that? How can you go through everything you went through? Maybe you at one point dealt with depression and you managed to fight your way out of depression. You went through all of that. It doesn't even have to be dependent on other people. Maybe it's just you. You went through trials and tribulations. You made it through. You made it out of there. And now you're standing in a room full of people that you seem to deem to be higher than you. And then you have the audacity to think, why am I here? Guys, imposter syndrome is a lie. And it is important that when imposter syndrome comes to you, when you have those moments, you look to that thing and you say, do you know what? I've been through way too much for me to doubt myself in this moment. I had to go through hell and high water. My parents had to go through X. My grandparents had to experience Y. My ancestors had to go through whatever it is that they had to go through for me to be in this room. Even if we look and you know, outside of even our direct family lineage, maybe you don't have the, you know, you're not necessarily somebody who's directly connected to their immediate family. But look at the people, the protests, the civil rights movement, the suffragettes. There are people that literally laid their life out on the line in order for you to have what you have today. So how dare you walk into a room and then question why you are there? You deserve to be there. I can almost guarantee that you deserve to be there. So the next time that imposter syndrome tries to come for you and tries to tell you, do you know what? No, you don't deserve to be here. It was by accident. They must have made a mistake. You're just not smart enough. You're not good enough. Maybe you're not the smartest person in the room. Maybe you're not the best speaker in the room. Maybe you're not the most confident or the most extroverted in the room. By the way, when I say walk in with confidence, it doesn't mean you have to be extroverted. There are introverts who are just as confident, maybe even more confident than the extrovert. That's not what I am saying. But what I am saying is that you can at least stand in the room and you can stand there knowing I am here for a reason. I'm going to make the most of this time and I'm not going to allow myself to be made smaller because of my insecurities. I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. I refuse. So guys, that is it. Those are my 3 tips for you to combat and overcome imposter syndrome. I know that imposter syndrome is something that can really be crippling for a lot of people. I thank God that I've never been in the place where, yes, I might have felt like an imposter here and there sometimes, but it's never really gotten me to a place like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to actually go into the room. I've at least felt the fear and done it anyway, gone into the room anyway, even if I messed up, even if I didn't necessarily say the right things. I just say to myself, do you know what? It's happened now. At least I was in the room. And that's how you need to see it, guys. You might not be, like I was saying, you know, you might not be the best speaker. You might not necessarily be the person that, you know, goes around the room and it speaks to everybody and it's the most amazing experience. But the fact that you are there, do not deny yourself that room. And that room, by the way, guys, doesn't necessarily have to be a physical room. It could be a business, you know, it could be a business move. It could be an opportunity that you, you know, want to take up, but you feel like an imposter and you really shouldn't. It could be a speaking engagement. It could be anything, guys. Whatever that room looks like for you, you need to be able to stand toe to toe to imposter syndrome and say, do you know what? We're not doing this in 2022. Things have got to change. But anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Please, please, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the thumbs up button as well. It's a good indication for me to know whether or not you're enjoying this stuff and this type of content. Let me know how you're feeling about the video so far by dropping a comment in the comments section below. Beautiful people, I love and appreciate you guys so, so much. And I'll see you guys again in my next Wake Up Wednesday. See ya.